Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving deep into something, well, really universal, something we all do, often without even thinking about it, giving advice. We're asking, how can we offer guidance genuinely, effectively, without it ending up being more about us than the person we're trying to help?
Yeah.
Our deep dive into this really interesting piece you shared, NISpod No. 4, gives us some surprising angles.
It really does.
So our mission is to understand the kind of hidden mechanics, the motivations behind both giving and receiving advice, its different forms, and how it shapes, our connections, especially maybe in creative spaces.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is how this material really broadens what we even mean by advice.
Right.
It's not just a simple suggestion. It's any opinion or guidance about what you should do or how you should act.
Okay.
So that could be anything from counseling, help, direction, right up to recommendations or just a casual suggestion.
Yeah.
We're really trying to grasp the nuance between the giver's intent and how the receiver actually perceives it.
And speaking of the giver, this research gets quite personal. It calls advice giving a very human predisposition, which sometimes feels, it says, like a compulsion, almost like an emotional sneeze disguised as care. That's a vivid picture.
It really is.
It kind of suggests our urge to advise isn't always about the other person needing it, but maybe more like an involuntary thing for us, releasing our own need to feel, helpful or knowledgeable.
Absolutely. It forces us to question our motives, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that links right into the study's analogy about curiosity, which I thought was great.
Oh, yeah.
Being curiously inquisitive at the right moment, that can feel like warmth and bonding, real connection.
Makes sense.
But get too curious, maybe at the wrong time, and suddenly it feels like the FBI trying to get inside your mind without a warrant.
Wow, okay. That's intense.
It is. And it shows that what feels right or wrong here is, as the source says, determined case by case according to each person's emotional baggage. It's so subjective.
That's a huge point. And it makes you wonder how aware we even are of that internal nudge, that compulsion.
Right.
If these personal impulses are that strong, how do they play out, say, professionally, where there are often different stakes, maybe power dynamics?
Well, the research points to how words like suggest and recommend get used. There's a difference between lightly suggest and strongly recommend. And it notes this can sometimes become a, quote, silly game of lack of transparency.
Ah, okay.
Especially when strong suggestions come from another person with their big authority. It's advice, but maybe disguised as more of a directive, makes you question the real intent behind it.
Yeah, that power dynamic again.
Exactly. It underlines those inherent power structures in communication. The author even shares this personal journey of trying not to give advice.
Oh, interesting.
Acknowledging that while we often think I know best a lot of times for ourselves,
Sure, we all do that.
we definitely don't know what's truly best for other people.
Yeah.
It mentions that old dad's advice, only give advice when asked.
Right. Easier said than done, though.
So hard to apply consistently, yeah.
Building on that, the source looks at how advice is kind of evolving, taking new shapes. And this seems especially relevant for, say, creatives and artists listening.
Definitely.
Like this idea of guiding, helping, framed almost like a game.
Oh, the challenge.
Yeah. Try not to give anyone unsolicited advice for half a day and see what you notice about yourself and about others. Put the conclusion on a poster. Imagine doing that, the self-awareness.
That would be revealing. And it flows nicely into another form discussed. Directing.
Ah.
For creatives, this is key. Think about directing a video essay, a short mixed media project, a community installation, things like that.
Right, more structured.
Exactly. Advice here becomes guiding the audiovisual process and a team alongside a vision. It's intentional, structured guidance. Really crucial in collaborative creative work.
Makes perfect sense. And then there's the last bit about recommendations.
The new unsolicited advice.
Yeah. Often seen as a form of tiny love acts. Suggesting a podcast, a newsletter, an event.
Or even just a GIF in the family chat.
Totally. It often comes from a good place, a place of care. But there's a warning, right?
Need to pace myself because too much of anything raises some eyebrows. Even good intentions can be overwhelming if there's too much.
So, wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway? Advice, solicited or not, it's this really complex human thing, shaped as much by our own internal stuff, our compulsions, as by how others perceive it.
Absolutely. And understanding these dynamics, well, it helps us navigate all our interactions more thoughtfully. Especially when we're giving or getting input on creative projects, it pushes us to think critically about the why behind advice? Why are we giving it? How might it land?
Which leaves us with a final thought to chew on.
When we offer what we think is a tiny love act, that recommendation, that piece of advice, are we always genuinely connecting? Or maybe sometimes are we just scratching our own itch, satisfying that predisposition to share what we think we